Recording is underway. Hopefully y'all are hearing me at this point. It's always a little odd to be saying, but you have to, because you have no way of knowing if you're being heard or not. All right. You are in Chapter 1 this week in 2414. Basically, this semester, you're going to do a chapter a week, except for the last week, you'll do 2 chapters. And actually, the last week has an extra day thrown into it because semester ends on a Tuesday, and then the final will be ending on that Wednesday. So we've got the session today. Chapter 1 in 2414. Let's see if I got the right book. I don't even have a number written on this book. No. That's a 2413 book. Let me write the number on it before I go any further. So that I don't have that problem again. The 2414 book is the identity book, which is this book right here. That's the book you should have. And chapter 1 starts you into Active Directory, introducing it to you. You do have 4, say 1, DC1, DM1, DC2. Should be 4 virtual machines you're going to use in the class for the semester. After you get them, each of them set up, do a snapshot, which VirtualBox will allow you to do. And then the first assignment in each chapter has you to run that snapshot to restore the machine back to its original settings. One advantage for me and for some students that for this semester is that the machines are actually all set up the same in all 3 classes of 24, 12, 13, and 14. I would go ahead and make them separate machines if you're taking multiple classes. I'd stick an A on the end of the names or something like that to distinguish them apart. Likewise, I would do the same thing to the domain. That I would put, for one of the classes, I'd put A's on the end of all of them, but on the for the other class, do them just like they said. Because if you try to do stuff out of both books at the same time, you're going to need both sets of machines. 2412 has an additional machine to do this class. So I use the same setup directions for all of the machines because their configs are actually all the same, except for in this class. 2 of the machines have you create 2 additional users on them, which is on the DM1 machine, and I believe it's the DC, and on the DC1 machine, that they have you go in and initially create 2 users. Domain user 1, domain user 2 on those. On the DC1 and then on the DM1, it has you create an admin user 1 additionally also. VMs are running on top of the other. It depends on how you've got your settings for one thing, and it depends on how much memory you've got in your machine, how much memory you assign to each of the virtual machines. But but they should not be exceedingly slow. They should be running, they may run a little slower than your other machines, but they should run similar to normal machines. Unless you're using way too much memory of your memory, that will definitely slow them down. So you may have to cut the size of the memory in your virtual machines down, some from what they were. How much memory have you got in your computer? Okay, with 16 gig, you should be fine, because I believe I've only got 8 here at school. And I believe I got 8 at home. That you may, depending, you may have to adjust on those. Because here at school, I know I got at least 8 on mine at home. I may have more. I don't remember. I really don't think I do. And here on the school one, I've got 8 gig of memory on this machine. Look at what your memory settings are on there. And did you choose the Server 2016 as what you were going to be installing on the machines when you set them up? Okay. Because they should not be dragging down, because a huge number of the servers that you use in the real world today are actually virtual servers. And there's a lot of desktops that are virtual machines also running, where it's just one physical server sitting there with lots of virtual machines additionally running on it, where they've combined what used to be a number of separate physical servers, and they still got them as separate servers, but they're all but one, or depending on whether they're using type 1 virtualization or type 2, all but one or all but none of them are virtual, sitting on a single physical server nowadays. That way you don't have to redo everything in there, reset everything up to get it where, because if you moved them all to one. But they should not be slowing everything down. Also, just check and see what else you've got running on that machine at the same time. So that can have an impact. I know some have reported. Definitely that you're going to do Active Directory, looking all at it in Chapter 1. Setting it up and getting it all going. That's odd. I just thought about that. Let me look at something back here again real quick. Yeah, because you got it already installed. Okay. So then you're going to work through that in Chapter 1. Chapter 2 is this week. The assignments are out there and the test is out there. Because this is a new course, not a new course, but new materials in the course, we're using a new book and a new version of the software. I do not have the course fully set up at this point, so all of your assignments are not out there yet. Actually, I've only got through this week, and the tests are not all out there yet either, but you wouldn't be able to tell that anyway, because I don't activate them till the week you're going to take them, so you can't tell how many I've got set on up out there beyond that. I will have the stuff all ready each week when you go to work on it. I'm going to try to if I can get it all out there as quickly as I can. This semester is short. It is 8 weeks versus 16 weeks that are fall and spring. So we're doing in 1 week what you would do in 2 weeks in those semesters. So realize it's going to take more of your time than it does normal. That also applies to me. However, I've still got 4 courses I'm teaching this semester, which are actually supposed to be 6 contact hours each a week in a normal semester. So that's 24 hours a week. And then, but we're doing 2 weeks in a week. So that's really meaning, theoretically, I'm spending 48 hours a week on the 4 classes. And I'm only supposed to be working 40 hours a week, besides doing other stuff for the school and involved in some other things. So I will work my best on keeping up with everything. First assignments are due today, and that hopefully on Wednesday I'll be grading those. Last week's discussion is due today too. I prefer normally to not grade before items are due, for a simple reason. For one thing, if you realize as you go along through the week that you goose something up, you can go back out there, fix it, and resubmit it. Now, test you only get 1 shot at. And I do have noticed in the classes this semester, there are some students, and it seems like in almost every one of the classes, that charged right into taking the test for the first chapter, the first or second day of the semester. And some of them did not do that good on it. And then went to doing the labs afterwards. The labs actually relate to what you're learning in the chapter. And they're doing what you're learning how to do. So I would think that the lab would help prepare you for the test better. Second thing is, there are practice tests out there. I do not check to see who did practice tests. They don't count in your grade. And the way I've got them set up, I don't think I can even find out if you did do the practice test or not. I think I can find out that you did the practice test, but I can't find your score. Because I've hidden them out of the grade book and not to be included in the grading because they're not supposed to be. But I think, I don't remember in this class, I think I've got most of the practice test out there at this point, but I'm not sure. Let me look real quick. Because I was trying to get that out. No, I don't. Because I've only got the first 3 practice tests out there so far and the first 2 tests. So I've got to work on testing here. Also, I think I may have all of the PowerPoints, because some students like using the PowerPoints to study with. I think I have them all in course documents now for the whole course. And no, I don't. I only have 3 of those there. I'm going to be working for the rest of the week on trying to get that accomplished also and get all your assignments out there. Besides doing because in the Cisco classes there are no practice tests. Theoretically, they keep telling us they're going to make test banks available to us where we can create practice tests, but I haven't seen them appear yet of how I can do that. So in this class, you do have practice tests on every chapter, and we'll have a practice final. I'll get those all out there as quickly as I can. The assignments in each chapter, I will try to get out there as quickly as I can too. And the PowerPoints, I will get out there quickly as I can. And I actually got 1 class done on that. So the Cisco class that I've got this semester, second time I'm teaching it, this version. And the problem with it is, because 2 of the Windows classes are completely new. And then the Cisco one, I actually taught it last summer using the new materials. But due to the pandemic, they changed things in January. Packet Tracer 8 came out where they were using 4 before. Packet Tracer 8 has more physical features to it. And so they changed some of the labs around. They require it to use Packet Tracer 8. And they added some of the labs that were just equipment only before, and so I didn't ever use them. They've made them into Packet Tracer labs also. They can be done on Packet Tracer also. And so I had to go through and redo what the assignments were in that class. And then that class, I have to activate test before students can do them. And I have learned in the past that going ahead and activating them at the beginning of the semester does not work real well. Particularly in the spring and fall, when time changes, it would goof up every time. And that sometimes they just lose the activations when you set them up several weeks in advance. So I have to do those each week. So I will be getting y'all stuff set up as I go. I did have the handouts, and I have fixed on those handouts some too, on how to set up the 4 machines, except for, as I noted to y'all beginning of the class, DC1 and DM1 both need a couple of users. 2 users on DC1, and on DM1 it needs a user added also to it. Otherwise they're exactly the same as in the other classes. So that's there for those. All right. So tomorrow morning I intend to work on grading discussions, but then for a good part of the day I'm involved in a community activity for, I know, the whole afternoon and part of the morning. So I'm just going to be here for a short time in the morning, and then I've got to go. Because I'm helping the Chamber of Commerce with an event. And then Wednesday, I should be grading assignments and getting next week's assignments set up also, because in both of these classes, I will have to get the labs and the test set up. And then I also need to get those practice tests set up. And this one, the test, I believe I got them set up in 2412, but I'm not sure. It doesn't show it on my charts. Apparently I don't. I think it's just practice test I've got set up. Because I actually have 2 little charts here. I've got one for every class actually. That is my master that tells me what I've done and when we're doing each thing. And actually that's coming off of the last page of your syllabus. And then this morning I had to turn in the list of no-shows for all of my classes, which nobody is a no-show. So that was simple. But I had to go through on the rosters for each class, and just like at the very end of the semester where I'll enter your letter grades, I had to go in and enter a P for everybody today for present. If there'd been anybody that hadn't shown so far, I'd have to do a no-show on them. But I would have had till tomorrow on that. But luckily, everybody did the no-show assignment by the Saturday or so. So I have been working actively on all of this and trying to do. I made a mad dash to try to go get lunch between this session and last session, which I guess Nicholas was in there, I think. Or was it James? Anyway, one of you was in there. Okay. Are you in 2413, Pat? Because I had a 1 o'clock session. I know you were there in both morning sessions. I don't have you marked down here as 1 o'clock. Nicholas was there at 1 o'clock. James, you were there this morning. As you were at by 11 o'clock. Yeah. I've had sessions today at 10, 11, 1, and 2, and then from 12 to 1, the Chattanooga Engineers Club, which I keep intending to join because I've been attending their online sessions, and when they get back to live, I want to go to their stuff. that because they used to take some neat tours, now they're doing the stuff online, that they were going through about how they've been going in and looking at the degrading of the concrete on the Chattanooga Dam as they're renovating it and updating it, where it's gone through and aggregated on it and shown how they did that and some other stuff. And it was an interesting thing today. And that they've done some others, and some I've missed. One or two I've missed just because I forgot about them, squeezed in there. And so, but I specifically had left 12 to 1 open. So it really isn't lunch. I was going to go grab lunch after Nicholas and I broke out of the other session at 1 o'clock, when it let out at 1:25 or so. Ran down to the Chinese restaurant, and as I went to get out of the car, it hit me. Today is Monday, and they're closed on Monday. Well, by that point, it was too late to be able to hit anything else, so I still haven't gotten that. I did have another pecan twirl sitting back here, so I ate it. So make sure you're doing all that stuff. I think all of you that are in here right now have had me before for these. So make sure you do your screenshots. Make them full width of the editable area of the page. Put them in Word type format documents, which means they end in either DOC or DOCX. Preferably use Word. The college supplies you with a copy of Word, actually with a whole copy of Office. Or you could use WordPad if you want it, but save it as a DOCX extension in WordPad. I'm pretty sure it's DOCX in WordPad if I remember right. So keep up with all of that. Questions so far for me in this class? Any questions? Because as y'all get into 2, I think I'll go into, you're going to work with organization units and Active Directory accounts. So you're getting introduced to Active Directory in Chapter 1, and then they're going to start working you into doing different things in there. And I sort of did them that approach just to try to get them out of the way. And also with the way the summer scheduling is working. So we are meeting today on Monday at 2 o'clock. Next week, Monday is a holiday. It's Memorial Day. School is closed. So anything that would have been due next Monday actually is due on Tuesday. However, the week starts on Monday. So the following week, stuff's due on Monday again. But I give y'all an extra day for the holiday in there on that one. Okay? So that, and the other part is so that things are not due on a non-school day, because there's actually a policy I've been told that supposedly is here at the college, but I'm not sure it's really followed well. But I have tried to follow, and that is not to have things due on days that the school is not in session. They remind us of that one each year when we close because of weather, and to give extensions because if you had stuff due on the day that we were closed on account of weather. But I make sure I do follow that otherwise. So that's why I don't have things due on next Monday. Same thing goes on July the 5th, which is a Monday. July the 4th is on Sunday. So Independence Day holiday will be celebrated on Monday, July the 5th, and the school will be closed again. Although the Declaration of Independence was actually signed on July the 3rd. But they thought July the 4th, it fit nicer for having some celebrations. So, that week we will have the session until Tuesday also. So next week on Tuesday, July the 6th, it will be on Tuesday, not on July 5th. The 2 weeks after this week, after next Monday, we should meet on Mondays, as far as I know. These are always subject to change. The 2 weeks after that, before the 4th of July, which is the 2 weeks between there and the 4th of July, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do then. I've got a meeting I'm going to during that time period, and I'm not sure how this is going to work out. And then our last session will be that July the 6th session, because July the 13th is the last day of class, and July the 14th is final exam day. So this semester will go by quickly. The other part is the week of July the 12th through 16th, whatever that is. I'm taking a class from the people in Texas that normal years I go to Texas every summer at that point for a week, and that they offer me free training and actually pay for the hotel. And the only thing that the school really asks you to normally come up with for that one for me is the transportation out there. And then eating, but they give me lunch every day and breakfast is at the hotel. So, but due to the pandemic, it's online this year. I'll be taking a class on Azure. Normally in June, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida with the same group of people, actually some different people, but it's run by the same organization. A few common same ones that I take training down there. However, I've got this other event that I'll be going to that week, so that's not going to work for me. It was going to be on server 2019, and I would have liked to have taken that one. However, I can't be in multiple places at one time. I will still be attending to the class and such. The nice part on the one in July will be, actually this time grades aren't due quite as quick, so I don't have to turn in grades during the midst of that. All right, questions for me. So I will get your grades in for week 2 discussion, maybe later today. It may be by Wednesday, because tomorrow's really, really full. And the recordings, I will get them downloaded and uploaded, I hope, this evening, but we'll have to wait and see how I do on it all. Okay? Because there's some other things to do too. So I'm trying to get all of this accomplished. And then I say discussions, I will try to grade them in the morning. And then grading all y'all's assignments from week 1, probably on Wednesday and into Thursday. But I may not get discussions graded in the morning. It depends on what happens when I get here in the morning, because I'm only going to be here a short amount of time. So, but hopefully I won't fall behind on grading at all, that I'm going to work hard on doing all of that. All right, what's your question about graduation, Matt? All right. One, you could just leave off the major codes, but here's where the major codes are. On the web page, if you go to programs, which is inside of, let's see, I got to remember what the column is. It's in academics, and programs of study is near the bottom. And then if you look at the different programs, you'll see the codes beside the name of the program. So for instance, if you look down at networking degree, you would see that its code, and this isn't the SIP codes, this is the 4-character code at the beginning. It's typically 2 letters and 2 numbers. So networking degree is actually NS13. Now, if you're getting the degree and you did psychology as one of your gen ed courses, you also qualify for the diploma. Now, beyond that, if you're a student, you may qualify for networking also, depending if you took the things Mr. Spurlock and I told you to take. Beyond that, there is a a number of TCCs that you may well qualify for, and that you need to list them also. So if you're a networking specialist student, definitely, and if you're sitting here in this Microsoft class, you probably are, that there is a TCC for the Microsoft courses. There's a TCC for the 4 Cisco courses, actually 3 Cisco courses now, plus 1 more networking course. And there are several other TCCs that you may well qualify for because you took all the courses for them, related a little bit more to computer support. To find those, if you'll look in the programs of study on that same page, and this will also make it easier for you to find the codes. If you go to programs of study for business, then it's just the business ones listed down there, and they got the degrees listed, then the diplomas listed, and then they got certificates, and you'll just have to look at each of the certificates and look at the name of it and see if you think you're qualified for it. So if you took the 3 Cisco courses and another networking course, you'd get the Cisco Network Specialist. You'd qualify for that one. If you took the 4 Microsoft courses, that would qualify you for the Microsoft Network Administrator. And then like A+, the CompTIA A+ preparation, the PC repair, you may qualify for a couple of those because you've probably took all of those courses as part of your getting the other one in the process. So, but you'll have to just look at those, see what the courses are listed, and go, did I take them or not? If it's a course you're in question, and remember, if it says elective, that can be anything. So if it says elective in a TCC and you got all of the listed ones, you've bet it. So look down through those and add those to the list too. So you may well qualify for 5 or 6 different pieces of paper. Does that make sense? For a while there, they had them listed, the embedded TCCs in DegreeWorks, and then they took that away. I don't know why, but they did. But then about the same point, they goofed up DegreeWorks, where if you put it, when you go in it, you put in you search for the student, it pulls up, and then you choose that student, it opens up DegreeWorks, and it has no idea in the world who you chose, and said you got to tell them what the number or search for them again. And they go, that's a programming error, and we've reported it several times, and they go, the company's supposed to fix that for us, but we don't know when they'll fix it. Well, I don't know how they goofed that one up. Okay, so that's about it for today, unless y'all have some questions, but it looks like y'all all said you didn't have any questions for me other than Matt's that I just answered, and that may have helped for some of the others of you. Reminder on graduation. If you are finishing this summer, I think you're going to finish this summer, you need to be applying for graduation. If you're going to finish this fall, actually you need to be applying for graduation also. That way, when we go to do registration, which starts June the 14th for fall, that the graduation people can double check your record by the time fall semester starts and make sure you are taking the courses you need to graduate. Graduation, you have to fill out the form to be able to get your papers. It doesn't cost you anything. That doesn't say anything about you walking in graduation. Actually, you get given the choice on the sheet. But if you're going to get your diploma, degree, whatever, the piece of paper, you've got to fill out that form. Also for it to show on your transcript that you graduated. Okay? Usually, if you've turned it in by the beginning of the semester that you're going to graduate in, usually they get them to you within a week or 2 after the end of the semester. If you don't turn them in till late in the semester, it won't go in on that order, and it has to go in on an additional order, and it can take some time. But usually, if you get them in by the beginning of the semester, in the first week or 2, that then that Missy can look at them, review them, make sure they're right. That then they'll mail them out within a week or two after the end of the semester. Now, if you're graduating this summer, that will mean the middle of August, because even though our classes are going to end the middle of July, the semester actually goes through to the first day or two of August. And so it would be middle of August before you probably receive them in the mail. You can also choose to go through graduation. I'd say walk through. Well, they still walked even on the drive-through, because they had to get out of their car, walk over to meet the president and get handed their paper. And but if you're going to go through the actual graduation ceremony, you have to mark that on there, and there is a charge for that. I think like $20 or $30. So some people definitely like to go through that. Some people don't want to bother with that. That's completely optional. What they give you at graduation is it's just an empty folder, because they don't give you your actual papers. They get mailed to you even if you go through graduation. Any questions on all of that? So December graduation will be in Dalton. Hopefully it'll be a regular one inside walk across. The spring one is in Rome, and you can actually go to the other one. If you're graduating in the summer and you want to go through Rome graduation, you can put down to go through graduation next spring. And there is no graduation ceremony in the summer. And then, but we had drive-through for the last 3, because we did drive-through for, we just did in Rome a few weeks ago, which I was there for. We did drive-through in Dalton in December, which I was also there for. I'm required to go to 1 graduation a year, but somebody had asked me to go for down there in Rome, and if a student wants me to go to a graduation, I'll try to make sure I'm there. I normally go to Dalton every year, which is in December. And they did drive-through a year ago in Rome. Also, that one was supposed to be in May, just like this was this year, but they finally did it as drive-through in August, I believe it was. But I did not go to that one. So I'll probably be there in Dalton. If somebody asks me to go there, I'll definitely be there, but I don't have to be at that graduation, since I went to the one in Rome this time, and that I've already done my 2 for 2021 or something. I've already done my 1 for 2021, so then 2022 I'd have to do another one on. So that's the status on those. So, but they do try to get the papers out pretty quickly to you. Any other questions for me? So if you have questions or encounter problems as you're doing, one problem that I have discovered that apparently I've forgotten about it on causing a problem, but as I was looking to find, I had some students saying they needed keys for their Windows Server 2016, because I'm not sure how many machines it will actually work on. It should work on several. I've not had many students ask for extra keys, but so I think it will work on your 4 machines for you. But if you get it on some and then it doesn't work anymore, email me and I'll send you another key to use on the rest of the machines, and that's for data center. That's not real hard. I've already got a set of a bunch of keys. Because Azure DevTools for Teaching actually is the student interface to MSDN, which is where Microsoft distributes their software to organizations that pay large amounts of money for that, and that the school actually used to spend $400 a year on it, but I'm not sure if we spend anything now. The state pays it actually, so I'm not sure how much they're spending a year on it now for the schools. And then students get to pull down any of those softwares that are out there for free, and then actually in MSDN, almost everything Microsoft has ever made is available out there. There's a few things because they lost a lawsuit to Oracle over Java a few years ago. Well, actually, it's more than a few years ago now, and those products had to be pulled. But and if there is some older Microsoft product or some other Microsoft product you're interested in, I can probably get you a copy of it for your personal use, just like it was on Azure. Azure DevTools used to list all of the stuff on there, but they've cut back what they list there, but they still give me access to it to give to students, and they also give me a whole bunch of keys to give out as part of our licensing. So, and your copy you get from that is actually a lifetime licensed copy for your personal use, not for business use, personal use. So if you can keep it. Okay. If there's no other questions, we'll stop the recording. And Matt, you want to just stay on here and talk on here, or what? You can actually, if you got a microphone, you can talk on that if you want. So I'm going to stop the recording.